Good morning, good evening from Nepal, everyone. This is Sushmita Adhikari, working with GTA Foundation Nepal as a program officer, and I am your secretariat coordinator for AI-Sarosh Knowledge Hub. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to all of you for joining today's webinar on maximizing project success, the critical role of monitoring, evaluation, and learning plan. Thank you all for participating here today. Your presence is really valuable to our collective effort to enhance our understanding and application of MEL practices. Before we start with this session, I'd like to cover a few housekeeping items to ensure that we have a smooth and productive experience. The webinar is going to last about an hour, where we'll have covering a lot of grounds on MEL. So we all encourage you to actively participate to make the webinar as engaging as possible. To minimize background noises and disruption, please keep your mic muted unless you are speaking. However, please feel free to turn on your videos, and we'd love to see you all. During the session, if you experience any technical difficulties, try refreshing your browsers or rejoining the session. Please feel free to ask questions anytime using the chat function or save it for Q&A sessions. However, if you'd like to speak during the discussion, you can use the raise hand feature and we can call on you. Please note that this webinar is being recorded, so if you have any unease, please let us know. The highlights of the webinar will be shared on our AI-Sarosh social media channels and AI-Sarosh website as well. So now let's walk through what our webinar looks like. Can you please change the slide? Thank you so much, Dr. Iftikhar. So we'll start with a warm welcome from Dr. Imran, lead of AI-Sarosh, who will set the tone for our session and share the objective of today's webinar. And following that, we'll have an interactive session, which will be a great opportunity for all of us to share our insight on monitoring, evaluation, and learning. After that, we can go through a detail on MEL, what it is, why it matters, and the key components that makes it work. It's going to be a foundational segment. Next up, we'll discuss the grantee's perspective on MEL, where we have an opportunity to understand the perspective of all the participants. And then we'll introduce the RQ Plus framework, which is designed by IDRC, and how it can be applied to enhance our MEL practice. And following that, we'll have an open Q&A sessions. In this session, we hope we'll have interactive and expect everyone to share their thoughts and discuss how we can improve our MEL practices together. So with that, let's start with our webinar. So I'd like to welcome Dr. Imran, our lead for AI-Sarosh, for his welcome speech. Dr. Imran, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Sushmita. Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I hope everyone is doing great. And I have sent message to Dr. Professor Mamoon, to our colleagues in Bangladesh, that things are getting better. There is a lot of things going on. I hope you guys had a comfortable summer. And I will not take much time. It sounds like from what Sushmita has written or in the agenda that I'm some kind of a Director General of the UN, but I just wanted to make sure that it is great to see you all, number one. And secondly, I just wanted to highlight that the reason we have been requesting you for this MEL webinar and your participation is critical. The reason being, we have received additional funding from IDRC for extending this work. And this MEL framework is going to be really critical in helping us to see which projects can move forward. And we would really appreciate your help. And we are appreciative already. You have been supportive in any level that you can. But there have been some challenges and difficulties. Of course, this is not a small concept or small thing that we try to use AI in an area where things are not that favorable. But I think that is where we have to show that we, as a South Asian group, are capable of doing this. And wherever I get a chance, I do advocate for your work. I do highlight your work. We just had a call yesterday. We are going to have some sessions in Japan in the Health Systems Global Conference. And there is a session by us, and there is a session by AI for GH. And I try to advocate as much as we can, but you and we all know that the bottom line is who has the product and what is the product. So I think this framework, this session by Dr. Iftikhar and Dr. Noor is going to be really critical for us to understand how we can best measure whatever we are measuring. And of course, there is impact, there is outcome, there is process. That's not my area. Dr. Iftikhar and Dr. Noor are going to be talking about it. But I'll just leave you with this message that we appreciate your work. But I think there needs to be some additional energy from all of us so that we can not only project, but also try to come up with products or solutions that are going to make some impact in the lives of the people that we aim to have an impact for. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Imran. So before we start with the sessions, we have a quick poll to gauge the status of MEL strategies across our organization. So I'll share the poll in the screen, and then I'd request everyone to take a moment to respond to the poll. The question can be seen on the screen or is available in the chat box as well.
Thank you, Sushmita, for putting the poll there. Just to let everybody know, this question is, it should read, do you have an organizational monitoring, evaluation, and learning strategy? So the question is for all our grantees and members of the AI-Sarosh team. So you will answer this question as, do you have an organizational monitoring, evaluation, and learning strategy? That is question number 1. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Noor, I think there is an issue of submitting the pool. I try to submit it saying this bot is disabled. Contact to your IT.
Okay, thank you so much. Sushmita, I think, have you set a time limit for the poll?
No, I've not. Let me check.
Okay, I was able to submit, and I can see that 2 other people have we have had 4 responses up till now. So if anybody can please have a look at it, Sushmita, I'd appreciate that. And my apologies, Professor Mahmood, for the chat not working for you.
No worries. This is a technical glitch.
I think it's working. I just tried it and it works at my end as well.
Anyway, my answer is yes.
Okay.
Thank you. So you can also
I'm having hello.
Yeah.
I'm also having the same issue. I'm not able to cast a vote.
I think this is a team issue.
Yeah, this is a Teams issue. It seems like.
Yeah. I think it must be then just the internal participants are able to submit their responses. Our apologies for that. So if you could use the chat function to respond to this question, that is, does your organization have a monitoring, evaluation, and learning strategy? And you can type your organization name, and then next to it, please submit your response, either yes, no, or maybe or partially. I would appreciate that. Thank you.
তোমাদের সবাই দেখতে পারো, আমার তো সমস্যা নেই, দেখতেছি। আবার মাসুদ দেখতে পারবো না।
So, Sushmita, how many minutes are we assigning for this question? Thank you, Hina. Yeah.
Dr. Noor, it's 2 minutes.
Okay. I think we like, as our participants are submitting their answers. Do you want to move to the next question, please?
Dr. Noor, I think we had only one question, so maybe we can just move forward with the rest of the agenda.
Okay, so I think thank you so very much, Sushmita. So our understanding was initially that for Sushmita and I to also ask our participants that those who said that they have a monitoring evaluation, an organizational monitoring evaluation and learning plan, whether that plan MEL plan is for the organization or for the AI-Sarosh project, either one. Would you be able to share at some point with us this MEL plan? So that was our other question that we wanted to check with anyone. So if you feel free to put in the chat that would you ever be able to at some point share it with the rest of the group? Because Dr. Iftikhar has also requested two of our participants' organizations to actually share with everyone the details of their monitoring evaluation learning plan. With this, so I hand over the mic to Dr. Iftikhar. Over to you, Dr. Iftikhar.
Thank you very much, Dr. Noor. So yeah, if you kindly can share in the chat that do you have any specific MEL plan for AI-Sarosh project? That will be nice. So we will have 1 more minute for it. And if you don't have it, that's absolutely fine. That's the purpose of today's webinar as well. Okay, I think we can now move on. Okay, and we will come back to this poll and we will discuss this towards the end during our interactive session as well. Okay. So now I think we can move on to our next stage. And in this part, we're going to talk briefly about our MEL plans. Okay. So monitoring, evaluation, and learning. So first of all, I welcome you again. My name is Iftikhar Ahmed, and me and my colleague, Dr. Noor, will be your host for this webinar. And we are going to divide this rest of the webinar into 3 distinct parts. First, we will briefly talk about monitoring, evaluation, and learning systems, MELs. And we know that we are sitting among very learned individual, and we are lucky enough for that to have you all with us. And we will love to listen about or learn from your experiences as well. So at any moment of time, when you feel you can aid into this, you can give us like your valuable feedback, or you want to share your experiences regarding monitoring, evaluation, and learning, we will love to have that as well. And we're not going to dive deep into what is monitoring, evaluation, and learning plan and how to devise them in the detail. We will briefly talk about these things because we are sure you already know about them. Many things you are already aware about them. Unfortunately, Sushmita, I cannot see the teams. So if there are any questions, please feel free to interrupt me there. So let's start with monitoring.
Yeah, so just to let you know, Dr. Iftikhar, I'm monitoring the chat. Thank you. Okay. Over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Thank you. So let's start with what is monitoring. So when we talk about monitoring within the context of our monitoring, evaluation, and learning frameworks, basically, we are overall referring to a systematic and continuous process. So it's not like a one-time activity, but it should be carried out throughout the project phases. And these can be different phases, right from the design till the implementation and review. Now, all this basically involves that we would like to collect data on various aspects of our project activities, outputs, and outcomes for the sake of, not only for the sake of tracking projects, but if we are able to achieve our project goals or not. So monitoring basically helps us in ensuring that we are on the right path, and we would like to allow to make the necessary adjustment along the way as well. Now, key to this process, the monitoring process is basically the key performance indicators, or we call it KPIs in general. So these indicators basically provides specific measurable matrices, and these matrices basically helps us to assess whether we are achieving our objectives or we are on the right track or not. So when we regularly review these KPIs, what we can do is that we can easily identify areas where we are like going in the right direction, or we are going ahead, or the areas we can identify areas that needs further review and further improvement. In addition to KPIs, what the monitoring can also do is they can help us in the resource allocation as well. So we can easily know that are we using our resources effectively and efficiently? Are we using our resources to the level that it will maximize the impact on our project objectives or not? Though through this consistent monitoring, what we can achieve is that we can make informed decisions because we will have data. And once we have data, then we can make our decisions based on this data. And this will be an informed decision. So basically, if something goes wrong, we will know it at the very early during the monitoring phase or during the monitoring process, okay, that something is not going as per our plans. Okay. Now, the second part of MEL is evaluation. Now, what is evaluation? Of course, this is a critical component of the MEL. Okay. And again, this is a systematic process. Okay. So we, in the evaluation, what we do, that we assess various aspects of our program or our interventions that we are taking. So it goes merely like we not only monitor, but we focus on its effectiveness, we focus on its efficiency, relevance, sustainability, and impact, etc. So through evaluation, what we do that we collect and analyze data to determine whether our program has achieved its intended outcomes or to what extent we have been able to achieve those goals. Are we successful in achieving those, or we are short of achieving those goals, or we have totally failed in achieving those goals? Now, what this does, that this process basically helps us, or organizations and project, let's say project managers, to make informed decisions about future strategies, okay, with the resource utilization, okay, and it aligns the processes with the overall goals. Now, evaluations can be of certain types. Okay. So I will just name few of them here. For example, we have formative evaluations, summative evaluations, process evaluation, outcome evaluation, impact evaluation, and economic evaluation. Now, this is not like I would not say this is a complete and exhaustive list. These are some of the evaluations that we can carry out. And now the question is that in a MEL plan, do we need to include all of them, or will like a subset of them can be used, or only one can be used? So the short answer for this is generally it's not necessary to use all of them. We can use certain subset of these evaluation matrices, and which of them we use, it basically depends on our project objectives and goals. For instance, if we want to design, let's say, a cost-effective system, okay, so then our evaluation will be okay, like the economic evaluation can be then carried out. Okay. If we want to reach as many individuals, okay, as possible, then maybe we will also consider impact evaluation there. Some of them can be short-term and some of them can be long-term. So based on the needs and goals and objectives of our program, we can select a subset of these evaluation and we can carry them out. Now, the next is learning. And learning is basically, for me and for some of us, it may be like one of the most important thing in the MEL component. So we perform monitoring, we perform evaluation, but what is the core objective of it? So once we, let's say, perform a monitoring and evaluation,
Dr. Iftikhar, I lost your voice there. I think your mic got muted. Dr. Iftikhar, your mic appears muted to me. I don't know if everybody else can hear Dr. Iftikhar or not.
No, I think no, we cannot hear him.
Okay,
okay,
thank
so
you.
I don't know, but somebody muted me, so I have no idea why it happened. Okay, so thank you, Dr. Noor, for pointing this out.
We not. Yeah.
Thank you. So I hope Dr. Noor, what was the last stage where I got muted?
Yeah, so I think you were talking about the importance of learning, especially in your context as a researcher. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, learning is of course like an important aspects of the MEL plane. So what I was discussing was that once we perform the monitoring and evaluation, and let's say for a certain reason, we are unable to achieve our goals or our side. So we should also go into a learning phase as well. What learning tells us that how do we learn or how do we use the knowledge, okay, for future improvement? What are our learnings so that we can use them in future and we do not repeat those things? And then we can also share these learnings with other organizations as well. We can share it with the public as well, and we can use it for our own purposes as well. Okay. And this learning can be given like different names. For example, we can call it quality enhancement, we can call it CQI, continuous quality improvement, etc. So there can be different names based on the setting in which we are working. Okay. So the key elements of the learning are for the effective learning are accountability and adaptability, knowledge management, dissemination and communication plane, okay, and then user-friendly products in the form of peer-reviewed publication, reports, briefing, notes, result stories, videos, and blogs, etc. So this learning that we make, it can be really beneficial, okay, not only for us, but for a larger, broader community as well. Then there are certain terms that are used in conjunction with MEL sometimes. Okay. And these are monitoring individually or evaluation, need assessment, operations research, surveillance, implementation science, and research. So when as we are reviewing the monitoring and evaluation, we have to keep in mind that we are clear on the various other scientific activities that are carried out, which are distinct basically from monitoring and evaluation. So though learning and dissemination of are common, okay, so like it's common in all these scientific activities, okay, there are certain aspects which makes MEL, monitoring, evaluation, and learning, distinct from these activities. Okay. So what we are going to do next is that on the next slide, I will describe these monitoring, this distinction between MEL and monitoring, evaluation, need assessment, etc. Okay. Now, first, let's go through these scientific terms. Okay, that what is monitoring, evaluation, need assessment, operations research, surveillance, implementation science, and research. Okay, so if you look at the monitoring, so these are like routine checking of program activities, outputs, and outcomes occurring according to the plan or not. Okay, so we basically monitor these activities against outputs and outcomes. Then in evaluation, we assess if program activities are producing the desired outcomes or not. Now in need assessment, what we do that we identify current gaps in reaching a desired outcome. And then operations research is basically focusing on identifying solutions for specific problems to improve the performance. And surveillance, okay, our focus is on continuous tracking of population level, health outcomes, behavior, and diseases. So these are specifically, we are talking about the healthcare systems. Implementation science basically refers to accelerate integration of evidence-based practices into public health, and general research create a systematic work undertaken to create creative and systematic work undertaken to create generalizable knowledge. Now, these are some of the technical terms, okay, that are generally used. So there's a consistent difference between MEL and these things. Now, in order to better understand these things like monitoring, evaluation, need assessment, and how to design MEL planes, there are numerous, let's say, references and documents and guidelines by various organizations. These organizations include, like, for example, World Bank, UNHCR, and some non-for-profit organizations such as Evolve Community. Okay? And they provide a detailed and step-by-step guidelines for developing these and implementation of MEL planes. Okay? So what we have done that in the resource section of this presentation, we have included all those resources. So we would love you to have a look at them after the presentation or after the webinar, and we will share our presentation with you. So we would love you to go through all these resources and then design the respective MEL plane considering these guidelines. Now, one of the important things for us is, because this is an IDRC funded project, and IDRC has designed a research quality plus frameworks. what this framework is producing, that is not like some specific, let's say, steps that we have to undertake, and these are like hard steps. No, these are a set of guidelines for assessing the quality of research. Okay. So the IDRC RQ plus assessment instrument, they call it. Okay. It outlines basically a framework and practical guidelines which assess the quality of research for development and serve as a tool to guide the work of external evaluators. So basically RQ plus, or Research Quality Plus, is based on the premise that a credible, balanced, and comprehensive assessment of the quality of research for development requires the consideration of elements beyond the research outputs only. So the focus is not on the research outputs like research papers or, let's say, citation count, etc., okay, or the number of, let's say, blogs or whatever, but beyond this, okay, we go beyond the conventional matrices, such as, let's say, we would like to focus on the impact of it, okay, the involvement of stakeholders. So these are some of the aspects of the Research Quality Plus framework, and we will be talking about them in a lot more detail in our next, let's say, in the next session. So I would like to take a pause here, and if there are any questions about this, so we would love to hear from you at this moment. Any questions, please?
I don't have any questions, Dr. Ittikhar. I just want to compliment you. I think you actually very concisely organized about the MEL, not only AI project, it's a general sense of MEL and the importance of MEL to make the project successful. Thank you so much. I think all the guarantee will get benefit of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Mahmood. Thanks to Dr. Noor. She's the lead on that. Any questions, please?
Thank you, Dr. Iftikhar. I think we can take the questions in the chat. I'm sorry, I would have loved to present this, but I came down with COVID 2 days ago and my voice is not at its best. So I think, Dr. Iftikhar, we can progress to the next phase because we would love to hear from our grantees in their experience in MEL. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay, thank you very much. So now this is like one of the really exciting phase of our webinar. And what we are going to do in this phase is that we will involve our partners and they are going to share their experiences with us. So we today we are pleased to announce that we have like from Professor Mamoon, and he's going to present their MEL plan. And then we would love to hear from Dr. Ihtisham as well from NAST. So what I'm going to do now, sorry,
yeah,
yes.
I'm sorry, Dr. Iftikhar, just to quickly, so how much time do we get to give to each of our participants when they're going to be speaking?
So we are going to get 4 to 5 minutes each. And yeah, this was communicated, so I hope we will be in time, hopefully. Thank you. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to unshare my screen and I will hand over the stage to Professor Mahmood.
Thank you, Dr. Iftikhar. I think you already covered up the fundamental things. So in that case, we will not need to take much time to do the presentation. Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see the screen.
And you also can see my presentation is coming up.
Yeah, it's coming up.
You can see it now.
Yeah, Professor Mahmood, we can see it, but we can see the presenter view, not the other one.
Is now all right?
Now it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay. So at first, I would like to express my gratitude to the AI-Sarosh team for inviting me to present our MEL practice, especially our project, Sushastra AI, an AI chatbot for adolescent. So I'm going to share with you about our MEL, particularly our this Sushastra AI project. I think I don't want to repeat the things that already Dr. Iftikhar covered. And what is MEL, importance of MEL, and advantage of MEL is already very nicely covered by Dr. Iftikhar. I just want to skip it. So one of the things I think I need to add here, that when we think about the concept of a solution for a particular problem, it comes with the conceptual stage. And when it comes to conceptual stage, we try to understand the problem. At the same time, we have to think about that if we want to solve these problems, we have to think when we develop the solution for the particular problem, we actually need to consider the MEL at that stage. And then next is a planning process, that when we want to design a plan for developing the solution, that also MEL also involved, because when you developing the solution, and also you need to consider the what will be your MEL for this project. And again, when you start to work on your research project, that is called, I call it a preparation, and also then when you collecting the data and like going to the machine learning model, and then you go for machine learning model and executions. All of these things, as MEL is a very integral part from the conceptual process to the execution level. So there is a very standard life cycle of MEL. So I think there is a typo, MLE, but it will be MEL. So there is a 5-step process that we actually considered for our Sushastra AI solutions, that we already said that planning and design process, we also considered the MEL. The two very clearly identify our objective, our key KPIs, and our methodology for the data collections. And when we actually first implement our data collection process, we also have to consider the MEL, because if we put the garbage, and we will get the garbage. So the MEL is very important in the data collection process, so that we can actually capturing the useful data for our model design. And next step is evaluation. Evaluation is a periodic process that actually cover up from your every steps. And then from all the steps we do every time, monitoring and evaluation actually lead us to learn things, that the mistakes we did, what we learned, and how can we improve that things. And that not only helps in this project, that learning also helps in the subsequent other projects as well. And the final phase is a feedback loop. Any solutions, small or large, feedback loop is an opportunity to improve and make the things better. And of course, we also need to consider the human-centered design approach in a feedback loop as well. So this slide is the one of the main slide, I would say. So here we want to put the how our evaluation process actually we implementing for our Sushastra.ai projects. So for everyone who knows about our project, I just want to recap it. So Sushastra.ai is a artificial LLM-based chatbot, which actually trained for answering any type of sexual, reproductive, and mental health related queries for adolescent to answer clinically valid information, so that our adolescent can get right information on a right time at their fingertip, breaking the barriers for societal taboo and cultural stigma. So in that context, what we actually did. So when we actually collect the data, we also process the MEL, that all the data source are right, and all the data we are making in the data set is useful for the model, which is clinically valid, and which process also done by workshop or clinical evaluators. And when we actually get the data, we develop the models, and in that models, how we evaluate that models. So you can see here, we can have a questions from the pilot, from the survey, from the healthcare professionals, from the real life. So we have to get the questions, and we need to ask that questions to our model that we developed, and also some of the state of the models like GPT-4 or other models like now is Llama 3.1 also coming up. And when it making the answers, we can compare the answers, our model answers with the parallel model answers. However, when it is a clinical things, healthcare things, we must compare the result with a healthcare professionals that they can test how much accurate our answer is. And in that process, we have to develop a verification protocol that we are using that answer with anonymity. And of course, we need to use some metrics that I'm coming later, and as well as our guideline. So in that way, our all the queries that coming to the engine, and we can actually do a evaluation that I say is healthcare professional evaluations. Our evaluators have a two perspective. One is a healthcare professionals, and then healthcare professional evaluated it and they give their feedback. Sometimes there is some complex queries that comes and it need a further intervention. That's why we call it a senior doctors or external reviewers. And it also come with some of the optimization and improvement issues that actually need to deal by the data scientist. So based on these both clinical teams feedback and technical feedback, that will give us a model's actual situation of the ability to answer the queries, and which covers a clinical evaluation and optimizations. So when it comes to the uh, evaluation metrics, so here I'm showing that some of the evaluation metrics we clearly used in our systems is like query fulfilled, that any query we asked, how much it fulfilled, it is appropriate, sorry, it is appropriate, it is a correct or partially correct or incorrect, inappropriateness, it is a clinically significant or it is little clinically significant, and missing content, it didn't understand the questions, and likelihoodness or possible harms, that answer is not clinically valid, it creating a harmness in the for the users, because people are using the system with a trust that it can provide a clinically valid answer. Cultural relevance, empathy, and possibility of biasness, and structure of quality. So these all the aspects need to do. Like when we go to a physicians, we ask some of the our concerns. Physician actually a very ideal physician answer all of these things. So our goal is to make the AI model is near to human. It is not, it never be human, but it's near to human. So I don't want to, due to time constraint, I don't want to go detail of this, all the 9 points that I just tell now. So what is the expectation of it? So our expectation that all this evaluation help us to understand the effectiveness of our model. Is it safe, and it making the satisfaction, ethical compliance, acceptability, adaptability, and of course, we don't want to use for the small group of people. It should be used by the large group of people, scalability. So I would like to visualize one of our evaluation that we recently did. You can see here in this graph, you can see we asked around 400 questions to our AI engine, and we categorize all the questions, and our AI engine actually answered questions, and what is the outcome of the answer we categorized. So you can see here, when user asks the question, there is a 4 types of question user asked. Explicitly, question is explicitly covered with the knowledge base, implicitly covered by the knowledge base that we actually developed, not covered by the knowledge base, and it's a kind of a greetings or statements. And on the other hand, you can see here the answer that giving me the based on the explicit knowledge base information, based on implicit knowledge base information, um, and like some of the answer, it refused to give the answer. It's supposed to give the answer, not answer. So you can see here in our solution that we actually visualize it, that how much or how good our system is performing. And you can see this is from the input side, and this is from the output side, and this is the assessment based on these 4 category. So finally, I would like to say that, and our project actually success depends on the outcome, and outcome need to be tracked. So the solution we are developing, our primary outcome, that what health impact it is making? Does it actually giving the answer of a complex queries or any concerns of the adolescent about their sexual, reproductive, and mental health? Or and also this is user friendly, it can engage. On the other hand, is it culturally relevant? Answer it can provide. Is it a sustainable manner of continuing these solutions? And that need to be evaluated through survey feedbacks or tracking the metrics that I said on continually. So I would like to stop here. We just share our experience on this particular project, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys all have. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Professor Maman. It was a great presentation. And specifically, I really like the part that which highlights that MEL plane should not be an afterthought, and it should really be integrated right from the beginning. So whenever it's an afterthought, then yeah, it can lead to problems. I wish we could have more time for you, but I think we can. Yeah. Any questions, please, from the participants? Questions? Okay. So now I would like to hand over to Dr. Ihtisham. Dr. Ihtisham from NUST, if you kindly can share your screen.
Thank you.
Professor Maun? Yeah, Dr. Ihtisham. Dr. Ihtisham, you got 4 to 5 minutes, please. Thank you.
Okay, do you see my screen?
Yeah, we can see the slides.
Okay. In full screen?
No, not at the moment. Maybe you can just first of all go to the slideshow mode and then share the screen.
Okay. Okay, I hope you see the screen now.
Yeah, we can see that. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your Dr. Iftikhar's and Dr. Mahmood thoughtful presentations on MEL. So I have I'm going to share our experience in this presentation. So we are doing this project AI-based risk predictive tool to aid in early diagnosis and management of gestational diabetes. And we are doing it with Shifa International Hospital. They are our collaborators. So basically, the way we are doing things is like we are in the first part, we are collecting our data. So we have, um, the first part of the major part of the project success depends on the data collection. So for that, our thoughts are like for the quality and performance as discuss as we are going to discuss the MEL. So we have actually somehow incorporated this MEL monitoring, evaluation, and learning thing in our project, like from the very beginning, like as per our understanding, like data collection and preparation. So we actually have our Shifa clinical research team who is collecting the data of GDM patients. And as you know, we are also dealing with the machine learning problems. So where we need the normal patients and the GDM patients. So we are going to collect the data of the GDM patients, just patients who have who are having diabetes in their pregnancies. So women who are having diabetes in their pregnancy. So that is one part of the one type of data, and the other is like the normal woman who does not develop GDM. So so we have like the quality metrics are already defined in our documents. Like we are having the set thing, like we are going to collect this much data. So for that, we have initially done some literature that we are going to collect like 5,000. We were aiming that we are going to collect 5,000 data of GDM and non-GDM patients. We have also planned that we have aimed that we are going to slightly collect more data of GDM because we thought that that class maybe is going to be rare, and Shifa, we were going to little push the medical team, the Shifa team to collect any good number of GDM patient data. So that is one of our set goal, and with continuous meetings and with every sharing of a batch of data, we actually run some tests on the data to know about the quality of data. For instance, we check for the missing values and the things because there's a huge number of columns, like 95 columns and things like that. So we have to look into the batch of data, what is the number of missing values or some typos and things like that. So we were communicating that with them throughout this process of collection of data. Other than this were uh, for example, some of the samples we rejected that samples because that does not match the protocol, the study protocol that were actually set down with the consent of the Shifa clinical team. So that is one of the way we collected the data. We have been collecting the data. So we were actively involved in the quality of the data. Similarly, we are also into the model building and evaluation. For that, we are actually again doing things like the way AI models are going to be trained. So that is another thing, like the sensitivity analysis and things. And thirdly, we are planning for the system integration that is like the mobile application, the web application. So we are going to have this in our fourth milestone. So for that, I have also a slide, but let's move to the other slide. MEL is actually already incorporated by the project management module of the AI-Sarosh, something like regular submission of deliverable reports and regular monitoring of deliverables. And secondly, we are answerable to this Shifa Ethical Research Board, our collaborators. So they are there to ensure the quality and correctness of the data themselves and also by ourselves, as I mentioned in the previous slide, and they are to ensure the adherence to the study protocol. So this is one thing. This is our understanding, and the other thing is like the baseline model. Like technically, they are the sensitivity. Sorry, the ML models. Actually, we chose some baseline models like logistic regression and random forest, for instance. So we plan that if these simple algorithms can give us some kind of in our model 1.0, if they are going to give us some good accuracy, that is also supported by literature. So we are going in the right direction, and we are, confident that our model V2.0 can be improved more. This was our plan, that we should test our data with the basic models so that we are, confident that we are on the right track, and we can do AI on this on the GDM problem. Again, this is the sensitivity analysis that I think that may not be that much relevant, but this is in the ML part. We are going to evaluate the models on these things. And then again, as I mentioned, the system testing, like we are going to test the data input and output flow to the system, and user interaction with the system, and then the error handling of the system. Like the unit level testing and system level testing we are going to perform. So these are our target outcome, like increase early detection rates of GDM in the first trimester. So we are actually aiming that that we are going to predict GDM in the first trimester. So initially this was our set goal or outcome, that we are going to increase this GDM rate, detection rate. Then, we are going to select, we have already selected a hospital which has a diverse kind of population, different areas of Pakistan. It is in the capital, so we have planned it as like this. And then we are going to have this improved maternal and neonatal health outcomes by reducing GDM-related complications. So this is also one of our goal. Feedback integration is like we are going to the ongoing collection of the feedback from the healthcare providers, our Shifa team, to refine the AI tool and ensure it meets the needs of the target population. It means that we are already, we are already have developed our model V1.0, and we have sent the documents to the reports and our model performance to the Shifa International Hospital of their clinical research team for their input. And we are going to have a meeting with them on the finalization of the initial. That is also one of our milestone, to give a validated deliverable that is validated by the Shifa Hospital. So this is going to be continued in the second model and in the second version of the model. The last thing is the learning part that I have, as per our understanding, we have already supervised 2 theses, MS master level thesis on the same topic using public data sets of GDM, so that we can try different ideas with them. And we have requested so many, the requested repositories of GDM, but the one we were made available to, we have proposed a thesis on that repositories. Secondly, we have one of the student has his paper accepted in this AI conference in Islamabad, that is going to be held on 29th of August. So that is also, this AI conference is also part of the APN 58. And similarly, I have already put a request for a webinar that is a medical working group in this APN 58. And this is like the antenatal medical working group with the tag antenatal. So secondly, learning is like, as we have developed the model 1.0. So as soon as we validate it from Shifa Hospital, we are going to have a workshop at NUST and as well as a Shifa. And this is not the final workshop that is already planned, a budgeted workshop in our plan, but this will be a local workshop for our students and for the faculty, and also for our clinical research team and doctors, perhaps some more gynecologists, as one of the gynecologists also working as a PI in our project, but we can have a workshop on our initial findings like the model 1.0, we can demonstrate that. So we are planning it, but we meet the third deliverable of submitting this model 1.0. So we are doing this after that. So this is our understanding, not that much formally as you mentioned, as Dr. Iftikhar mentioned in his presentation. So we are going to, if you are going to send us or share with us some kind of guidelines, like NUST is, I have this document right now on my desk. That is like the policy guidelines and monitoring and evaluation for research projects. That is a working paper by NUST, and it has been published in July 2024. So NUST already has this monitoring and evaluation of research projects that contains lots of things for the PI, for the execution part of the project, for the project management at the NUST level, at the school level, and hiring, every financial things like that, and also reporting. So everything is included in this 13 pages document at the NUST site. Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Ihtisham. Nice of you. Thank you for the wonderful presentation. Again, due to time constraint, unfortunately, we are time. Otherwise, we would have loved to hear more from you. And yeah, so next, what I'm going to do, can I share my screen? Thank you. So next, what we are going to do is we will move to our next phase, and I promise to complete this within next 7 to 8 minutes. Okay. So yeah, exactly. So next, what we are going to do, I'm going to talk briefly about the RQ Plus framework. And as I have already seen that, although we have not discussed it, but Professor Mamoon and Dr. Ihtisham, we have already incorporated some of the aspects of RQ Plus frameworks in your project as well. So what we are going to do in this session, our focus will be on how we can integrate the RQ Plus framework in our AI-Sarosh projects. So as we are working on AI to address the critical SRMH challenges across South Asia in 3 different countries or 4 different countries, so it's essential that our research not only meets the highest research standards, okay, but we would also like to have some real positive impact on the communities that we are aiming to serve. Now, the RQ Plus frameworks basically offers us a comprehensive approach to go beyond the normal, let's say, evaluation criteria of research. Okay? And we would like to explore how we can apply this to enhance the effectiveness and relevance of our project. So let's start with this presentation. Now, why there is a need for the framework? So as we begin, okay, it's essential that we understand why a robust framework like, let's say, Research Quality Plus, okay, or in short, we can call it RQ Plus, is necessary for our work or for the work that we are doing together. So first, there is issue of research quality and relevance. Okay, so in fields like AI for social good, or AI for development, or AI for global health, it is not enough that our research is to be technically sound. Of course, it must be technically sound, okay, but it is also needed to be relevant to the communities that we are trying to help. However, ensuring this relevant presents several challenges in the research. So the traditional methods, like if we focus on publication counts, the number of citation, H-index, etc., okay, or I-10 index, etc., okay. So often these measures fails to capture the true value of our work. Maybe there is a research paper which is not quite oftenly cited, but it is able to produce like a very good outcome in terms of the product that is serving the community. So this is why there is a growing need for comprehensive evaluation method that not only measures the academic success, but also consider the broader social, economic, and cultural impact of our research. And that's where the RQ Plus framework comes into the play. Now, why RQ Plus? But as I said that, why do we need RQ Plus? Okay, so it is important to consider that there are unique aspects of our work. Okay. So first, the RQ Plus basically offers us a context-specific evaluation, which is crucial because each of our projects, like there are 8, 9 projects that we are undertaking at this time, okay, they operate in different environments. They are working on different set of conditions. They are addressing distinct challenges. They have their own local challenges, and then they have like the broader challenges. So whether we are working on AI solutions, let's say in specific SRMH issues and in general healthcare, okay, RQ Plus basically ensures that our research is evaluated considering these unique contexts in the mind. So this allows us to tailor our approaches effectively. So some of the aspects is the inclusivity. So this framework, basically the RQ Plus framework, this emphasizes on the inclusivity. Okay. And this is particularly relevant again for AI-Sarosh as well. So as our project involve a wide range of stakeholders, maybe like the local communities, governments, NGOs, hospitals, industry partners. So RQ Plus basically encourages us to actively include these diverse perspectives in our research process as well. And this ensures that the solutions that we develop are not only technically sound, but they are also aligned with the needs and values that the community that we are aiming to serve. And then the broad impact and consideration, because RQ Plus highlights the importance of broad impact and consideration. So it is not enough, again, that for our research to be innovative, it must also be relevant and beneficial to society. And specifically for AI-Sarosh, okay, so this framework basically, it pushes us to think beyond the traditional academic measures. And it, let's say, gives us a tool and mechanism that we not only evaluate our research projects or our AI-Sarosh projects based on their academic soundness or innovativeness, but also how much impact it has on the society. Now, there are these are some of the components of the RQ plus frameworks. Okay, so first we have the research importance basically. So it looks at the significance of the research question that we are trying to address it, and it's like, is it handling some potential critical issues in our society or not? Okay. For us, this means that focusing on problems that matters to the society in the context of SRMH. So by focusing on these research priorities, okay, with a high potential for impact, we would ensure that our efforts are directed towards making a real difference in the society. Okay. So I'm sure, like all of us, this stage has basically already gone. All of these projects that we are doing, okay, they are of the research importance, and that's why they are selected. But the next component, sorry, I think I have gone a bit further. But the next component, okay, that is the research integrity, research legitimacy, and position for use. These are the areas that we need to focus on during the execution of our project. So research integrity, of course, is like a very core element of any research project. Okay? And in this, our work should adhere to the highest ethical standards. We should maintain transparency, okay? And the research should be conducted with scientific rigor as well. Okay. So it means that if we are developing AI models, okay, so they should be developed and tested with fairness, accuracy, accountability, okay, ensuring that they are trustworthy and reliable. So we should have some mechanism in place that are able to measure, okay, the trustworthiness. Are we following some transparent mechanisms? Is the data we are collecting, is it anonymized? Okay? Or the, let's say, the chatbots that we are creating, okay, will they not reveal any personal information? So these things are considerably important. Then comes the research legitimacy. So the research legitimacy basically focuses on whether our research is inclusive and culturally sensitive and respectful of the local context. That's very, very important. Okay. So this is very important because we are working in these 4 countries, but still there's a quite bit diversity here. So we need to ensure that our solutions are not just technically sound, but they also, I mean, they should also, let's say, resonate with, and they must be accepted by the communities that we are where we are going to implement them. Okay? So we should take into account the unique cultural and social dynamics as well. And finally, the positioning for use, and this assesses that how well the research is designed to influence policy, practice, and further research. Okay? So our goal at AI-Sarosh is to create AI-driven solutions that don't just exist in a vacuum, but I mean, they should contribute to decision-making process. We should be able to influence the decision makers. Okay? So these are some of the 4 important aspects of the RQ plus framework. Now, as we are running out of time, I think I've already taken 4 extra minutes. Okay, so I will just highlight that how we can incorporate RQ plus in AI-Sarosh projects. Okay, so we will focus on research importance, research integrity, research legitimacy, and positioning for use. So for all these 4 components, we should design how we are going to evaluate. Okay, that is this research really important? Are we addressing the research integrity aspects, the research legitimacy aspects, and the positioning for use? Now, what's our way forward? Our way forward is that as we move forward, so I think it will be important for all of us, okay, who are involved in AI-Sarosh projects, to become familiar with RQ Plus framework. And as Dr. Imran already announced or suggested, that we are going to get some extra funding. Okay, so we will strongly encourage you to learn more about RQ Plus, and we are going to share resources in the next slide so you can view all those resources. And the next step will be to begin integrating RQ Plus assessment into your respective project. This means that incorporating the framework principles from the planning stages to continue to apply this throughout the project lifecycle. And we would like to see, in the next deliverable, we would love to hear from you how this progress is going on. These are some of the resources. Okay, we will share this with you as well. Like we will share this presentation slides with you so you can have a look at them. And there are many others as well. And again, if you need any assistance, we would love to hear from you as well. Okay. Thank you very much again for listening to us. If you have any question, please go ahead.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Iftikhar. So I would open the floor now to our esteemed participants of this webinar. If you have any questions related to monitoring, evaluation, and learning plans, or what are your monitoring, evaluation, and learning plans, also the RQ Plus framework, I wanted to emphasize here that the RQ Plus framework, it is IDRC's standard tool for assessing the research projects that they fund. And over the years, they want to see what has been the impact of the funding that they have done. The RQ Plus framework is more for reporting purposes as well as the AI-Sarosh being the secretariat for the grant. We use the RQ Plus to guide our reporting to IDRC. And one of the main reasons why we wanted to have this monitoring, evaluation, and learning webinar with you all was that the reporting that you submit to AI-Sarosh helps us to report to IDRC. So the quality of reporting that we get from you is reflected in the quality of the reporting and learning that we submit to IDRC. So it almost is like a continuous loop. The end users of the RQ Plus is definitely the IDRC, but the producers or what feeds into it is the work that our participants or the AI-Sarosh grantees are submitting to us. So with that, if you have any questions or further need for clarification, please feel free to unmute yourself, or you can use the chat function as well. And just to mention, Professor Mamoon, I think Hina has a question for you in the chat. And also Hina has a question for Dr. Ehtisham in the chat. So please feel free to respond to Hina's questions in the chat. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting us. I have a quick question related to what you have said, that it's a continuous learning process, that whatever we are sending it to you for your review, it will be, sending it to the IDRC for their review. So we recently established our MEL system within the project AI because we thought that, at the primary, since we are doing the primary data collection and we have like 3-4 sites for our data collection. So it was a need for a project to actually, making everything, quality and all the information will be collected timely, since we also have a time constraint. So we did not, have all the we were not initially following any MEL mechanism or framework, but we recently established it. And so do we need to send it an updated, framework? Because I realized that we did not submit while we were sending the, our project progress report in last quarter. So it's just, very simple question. So do we need to submit again, and can we wait for another, our deliverable cycle, and then we can add and send it to you? That's my only question. Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much. So, Professor Mamoon, I think you have your hand raised. Is it a related question, or do you want me to respond to Hina first, and then I can request you to speak?
I would like to answer the Hina's question. Should I do now?
So Hina's question about the Suhasto project, about the the data, you can like the use of chatbot and the age differences. That question you can please respond to in the chat, because that is not related to monitoring, evaluation, and learning. That Hina's question, you can respond to her in chat, or you can communicate with her through email. But for this, the purpose of time constraint, we would use this time to respond specifically questions related to monitoring, evaluation, and learning. So if
I
I
think
may,
then
Professor Mammon.
I think I can answer in the chat. It's fine. We can save time.
Okay, thank you so very much. So Hina, I understand that your question was that do you need to submit a monitoring, evaluation, and learning plan? At this time, no, we are not asking our participant to do any additional thing that was not agreed upon previously. As you may remember, and Dr. Iftikhar also has details on it, that when you submitted your proposal, there was a whole section on monitoring and evaluation. And there was language on it that the grantees will submit regular or products that are evaluation related and that are regular monitoring. So when you were developing your theory of change, if you would all remember, we requested you all to develop a theory of change. So when you are looking at monitoring and evaluation, you always start with your theory of change. And from your theory of change, some people call it theory of change, some people call it logic model. It depends which sector or which hemisphere you are in. So once you have your theory of change and logic model, then you come up with a log frame, and then you identify your key performance indicators. So I think all of you have submitted that, and work has been done on it, and you are reporting it regularly. What we are requesting our grantees is that the reporting that you do, if you could enhance the quality of that reporting, and in providing us more details of how your projects, you're monitoring them, how your projects you are evaluating them, and what learnings have you found, and what learnings have you integrated into your project. If we could get those from you in your quarterly reports, that would be very useful for us to build a case to IDRC to showcase actually the quality of work that has been done. Dr. Iftikhar, would you like to add further to Hina's question?
Thank you, Dr. Noor. Dr. Hina, that's a very good thing. That's a very good initiative. And just I would like to add one more comment to it. So when in the next deliverable, please do mention this. Okay, so it's been one of our highlight, and would like to let's say highlight it for IDRC as well. So please do mention it in our next review or in the next deliverable. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Noor and Dr. Ketar, for providing the explanation. And just one more question related to this, because we also thought that, we also plan to have one operational research within this project. And it is, kind of providing some sort of information to the postnatal women who are experiencing any kind of anxiety and depression. So we're kind of providing information to those women in a form of IC material, and we're kind of evaluating at the end of our project. So this is kind of operational research that we planned during our research. So I thought to mention this because we have like so many other things that we are, learning as they go by and within the project. So I think with this, we are going to mention what are learning from this project, and also, the project outcome. So this is one clarity I wanted to tap. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Hina. Thank you very much. Okay. Sushmita, over to you, please.
Thank you so much. So as we're already running out of time, we're already 15 minutes late from what we actually proposed, and we're really sorry for it. So lastly, I'd like to request Deepak sir to have his closing remarks.
So thank you, Susmita. So this is a vote of thanks, and thank you, Noor. Even you are sick, you joined the call. So as we came to the end of this session, I would like to express heartfelt gratitude to everyone for making this webinar very successful. First and foremost, I want to thank Dr. Imran, Iftikhar, and Dr. Noor, and Susmita, and our grantees, and the entire team. Your valuable insight and perspective have been enriched of our MEL understanding. So we all are in the learning phase, and this is giving us a great opportunity to share knowledge. Let's continue to collaboration and put our learning into action to maximize the success of our project. The insight we gain today on MEL will benefit not just only the individual project, but can be applied at the regional level and share at the regional hub as well. Once again, thank you all of the being here, making this webinar success. We look forward to seeing you at our near future events. So thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, again, I would like to thank you all for joining us, and apologies for extending it by more than 15 minutes. Okay, again, if you have any question, please feel free to reach out to us, and we would love to answer that and help you in any way we can. Okay. We will also share the presentation and the relevant material with you as soon as possible. Thank you very much. Have a great day ahead. Bye.
Thank you very
Thank you so
much.
very
Take
much,
care, Dr.
everyone.
Noor. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.